All right, we are going to get started drawing our cute little elephant. We are going to start off with a circle for his head, and don't worry about it being perfect. Just do the best you can. I like to start by drawing a circle and then just taking my pencil and going over and over and over that shape quickly, and then usually some of my outside lines will form a pretty nice circle. And we want this circle to be in about the top half of our paper because we want to leave room for the elephant's body later on. We're going to divide that circle for the head into 3 sections. And then from those sections that we made, make sure you make them light. We are going to come up and then over, away from the head. And you're going to do that with just a small line up. You're going to curve it and go straight out. And you can make your ears as big or as small as you would like. Mine go out probably about an inch or 2 out from the elephant's head. You do it on both sides, and now I'm going to curve the ear down, just a little bit of a curved line. I'm going to curve it, come all the way down a little bit past his face, and I'm going to finish it up with a U shape on the bottom. Okay, down and into that U shape, and it will connect to the head. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to do a little bit of a curve. We're going to come down below the head, and you can try to make these relatively even. They don't need to be perfect, and you can always erase. See how one of my ears is bigger than the other? I'm going to go ahead and take my eraser and fix that up. And make sure you're drawing lightly with your pencil so that if you do need to erase, it will come off really easily and you don't have to worry about those lines still being there from before. So I'm just making my second ear just a little bit smaller. And now we have our 2 ears. So we're going to come down here and start the elephant's body. We're going to start with a line coming out from right where the ears connect to the head. So on both sides, we're just making lines. They're very slightly tilted out, just a tiny bit. And then we are going to make his front legs. So we're going to draw kind of like a curved line to the middle. See how I drew a line in the middle just for reference? And I'm going to make a curved line that comes and connects to that. And I'm going to do the same thing for the other leg. And then that middle line just comes up to about halfway. Now I'm going to give my little guy some toes. And so these are just basically half circles. You can make them different shapes. You can make them all the same size. I like to make some of mine small, some of mine big, just to give my elephant some character. You can do 3, you can do 2, you can do 4, you can do as many as you want. And then we're going to make his back feet. So we're going to make circles. And they're going to connect to the front legs that we've already drawn. I'm just going to make a circle just like that. And I'm just going to erase the outside of mine. Remember, that's always an option. And feel free to pause the video at any time if you feel that this is too fast to you or fast for you. And then we're going to make another circle over here on the other side for his other leg. And see how my circles are not exact, and that's totally okay. Just do the best that you can. And then we're going to come on the corner of the circle. Well, I guess circles don't really have corners, but like the outward edge of the circle. And we're going to connect it back to the elephant's body. And then I'm going to add some little toes on his back feet. Just like that. And now that we have his body done and his ears and everything, we're going to go in and make the eyes. So I'm going to draw a line that's a tiny bit lower than halfway on my elephant. And that's where I'm going to start the eyes. I'm going to make a big giant eye to make the elephant look really cute. And it's basically just almost like half of a long oval. You're just coming up almost like a little doorway. And then I just make a line on the bottom. Almost like you're making a big top hat, but it's not a square top hat, it's a round one. And then once I have both of those, I'm going to go and do the exact same shape on the inside. And I'm going to make one more line to show the direction that the elephant is looking. And I'm going to have mine looking off to the left. So the last little curved line is going to be over there on the left-hand side. And now for the cute trunk, we are going to start about the middle of the eyes. We're just going to go right in between there. We're going to make a little J shape. And then we're going to come over here on the right-hand side. So see how his trunk lands just about in the middle of his eyes. And we're just going to follow that same shape. Just like that. And then on the end, we're going to kind of make like a little ovally shape that just connects to the outside to show his little trunk. And now you can go ahead and erase all of your guidelines that you had. So you can erase the ones you had for the eye placement, that showed you where to do the ears. Just get rid of all those lines, the one that goes through the trunk, and we will be ready to get started watercoloring. First things first, we are going to spray our watercolor paints. If you don't have a spray bottle, just get them wet with your paintbrush. And then we are going to take our brush, we're going to dip it in the water, and then we are going to mix up a little puddle of black, but we're going to add blue into it because I want my elephant not to be just kind of a dull gray. I want it to be more of a vibrant bluish gray. So what I'm doing is I'm just adding in blue to the black until I get just a nice, almost bluish gray color. And that's what I'm going to use for the elephant's body. And when I think I'm happy with my color, I test it out on the paper towel, and I'm pretty happy with that. So I rinsed off my brush, dabbed the excess water out on the paper towel, picked up some paint, and I'm just going to go right into the elephant's ear. And I'm going to avoid the head for now, and I am going to fill in the entire elephant's ear. As you can see, I am using a lot of water, so I dip it in the color that we mixed up, put a lot of that on, and then mostly what I'm using is just water to spread it around. Do the same thing on the other ear. Now, if you're smart, you might start on this side, if you're right-handed like me, but I always start on the wrong side. I start on the right side, and then I mess it up by accidentally setting my hand in what I've already painted. So if you're right-handed, you might want to start on the left ear. But if not, just do your best to avoid dipping your hand or your paintbrush in what you just painted on the other side. Next, I'm going to fill in his body, so his front legs. And I'm going to avoid those cute little bumps we made for his toes. I'm going to go around his trunk and basically fill in those front legs. And once again, I'm not using a ton of color. I'm using a lot of water to spread that color around. If you notice, a lot of times when I rinse my brush, I tap it on the paper towel, and this is just getting the excess water off. So you don't want your brush to be completely dry, but you also don't want it to be soaking wet, because when there's too much water on your paper, it can tend to go places you don't want it to go. If you want an area to be darker, like back here, for his back legs, I just went straight into the color that we had mixed up and went straight to the paper. I didn't worry about mixing it with any water. And I'm going to go in and just kind of blend this out a little bit with just a dry brush. I just pat it till it's pretty dry, and then I just go in and just touch up those little spots. See how the color was kind of splotchy there? I just go in, just kind of move it around a little bit with the dry brush. It'll pick up the extra pigment and make it look a little smoother. Now I'm going to go into the face, and for the face, I'm going to make mine pretty light. So I'm going to go over his nose, his face. I'm going to avoid the eyes. And I'm going to get everything else nice and colored. And as you can see, it's pretty light, not as dark as the ears, because we want it to stand out. We want to create that contrast between the ears and the face. And don't worry too much, though, if your color looks the same, because we will go in at the end and we'll use a marker to finish this off. So don't worry too much about it if you feel like your colors are very similar. Then I'm going to mix up kind of, mine is called a poppy red. It's just kind of a pinkish reddish color, and I'm going to mix it up and use a lot of water. I'm using a very, very light color. And when you want to do light colors in watercolor, you always add more water, and that will lighten up the shade of your color. Now you can make this any color you want. His little feet down there, you can do blue, you can do purple, you can do whatever your favorite color is. It's up to you. I kind of like pink because I think it looks really cute. But I'll show you guys later on a few times when I did it, some different colors. And then I went ahead and added just water, just plain water to the elephant's cheeks. And then I dropped in some of that pinkish reddish color. And then I just dried my brush off and picked up the extra color and just kind of moved it around a little bit. So see how it kind of blends out. And now I went in and I went ahead and made the little toenails that we made. I made them pink. You can do whatever color you want. You can make them a lighter gray. If you made your feet purple, you can make them purple, blue. But I like pink, so I'm going in and just adding a little bit of that pink color to them. Now for the little elephant's eyes. You can also make this any color that you want to. I'm going to make his eyes blue. So I mixed up some blue over there on my palette. And I'm going to be careful to only paint the outside little space of his eyes. So remember how we made those 3 lines? I'm just painting that outside space. Do the same thing on both eyes. And then inside, I am going to mix up just straight black. Nice dark black. And that is going to be for his pupil. And we're going to avoid that little tiny last space that we made. So that we're going to leave white. You can go in with a smaller brush. This is probably going to be the easiest way to do it. I'm going to do it with this bigger brush though, just to show you that you can do it with this. You just got to be careful. So see how I'm avoiding that last little line I made when we were making our eye shape? I'm just going to go in and spread this color around. And you can always tap your brush if you put too much color on it, or if there's too much water on it. You can always tap your brush off and then go back in and finish filling in the eye. Alright, so now I'm going to go in and mix up some more of our blue-gray color for the elephant because I used it all. And mix it up until I'm happy with it. And then we're going to go in and basically add our contrast and our shadows. Because remember, watercolor is all about layers, adding layers on top. So I'm going to darken up his back legs, because these are going to be in the shadow. And see how I'm adding color, and then all I'm doing is rinsing my brush off, tapping off the excess water, and then pulling that color out. The same thing on the other leg. And now I'm going to go in and define the ears. So I really want everyone to be able to see the face of my elephant. So what I'm going to do is add contrast to those ears so the face kind of pops out and you can see it really well. So I'm just adding a little bit more, and now I'm just moving around with just water, blending those colors out, and do the same thing on the other side, just avoiding the face. Adding lots of color, and then if you notice, I'm not going back into the paint, I'm going into the water to spread it out. I'm just using water right now. I'm going to come down here and darken up just right underneath the face. Right down there, in the little elephant's front legs. And once again, I just take water and I blend that color right out. And sometimes if my color's not blending, I will dry my brush completely off and then with an upward motion just kind of sweep up and collect all the extra water and pigment. Okay, so I wanted to go in and add the little wrinkles on the elephant, but as you can see up above, if you add your wrinkles when your paper is still wet, it's going to start bleeding and kind of do this big blotchy effect. But it's okay if that happens. Just make sure that your paper's dry. If you accidentally add some to wet, you can just dab it with a paper towel, a tissue, just like that. Make sure not to scrub your paper, just press gently and lift. And when you do your cute little wrinkles, use a lot of paint. See how I'm not really even mixing it with the water anymore. I'm just going straight in to the paint and making little lines. They're all different lengths. They're on both sides of the legs to give that cute little wrinkle effect. And since I dabbed the paper over here with my paper towel, it's now dry, so I can come back in and add some more details. I'm going to add a few lines on the legs that are behind, but you don't have to. That was just something I wanted to do. And then I'm also going to add just a few lines to the bottom of the elephant's ears. You can add little wrinkle lines all the way around the ears. You can do as few or as little as you want. This is totally up to you, but these are the ones that I chose to add. I chose to add some on the face. And I also add them on the nose. I think that's pretty important to add some wrinkles to the nose. And then to kind of make the elephant look a little bit like it was smiling, I added a little bit of paint on the sides of its mouth to kind of give it like a little smiley face underneath the trunk. And that's it. Your elephant is done. You can go ahead and leave your elephant like this, or you can keep watching and I will show you how to outline it with marker. You can use a Sharpie, or I like to use Micron pens because they have just very nice points so I can get a really nice line. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to outline the entire elephant. And this gives it a little more of a cartoony look. As I go around, I'm going to outline pretty much everything, so I'll let you just go ahead and watch as I do the ears, the face, the nose, and the feet. I went ahead and outlined 2 little bumps to give the impression of cheeks on the little elephant. You can do this if you want, you don't have to. I'm also outlining the eyes. I went ahead and gave the elephant some eyelashes because mine's a girl, and so I wanted to give her some cute little eyelashes. And another thing that you can do is add a bow. Now, I'm going to draw my bow and pencil first. I always like to do this in case I make a mistake. I can erase it and try again. So I'm going to take my pencil, and bows are pretty simple. You're going to start with a triangle. It's a sideways triangle, just like that, pointing toward the middle of the head. And then you're going to make the exact same thing on the other side. So another triangle pointing and connecting to the other triangle. And then you're going to put a little rectangle right on top in the middle. And that's really all there is to a bow. And then I'm going to go ahead and outline that with my marker. And once I'm finished outlining it, I'm going to go in and erase all the pencil marks that I made. And then, of course, you can't do a bow and not add color, so you can choose whatever color you want for your bow. I'm going to do purple, and I just went ahead and mixed it over my kind of pinkish red color because I didn't care exactly what shade of purple that I got. And then I just went ahead and filled in the little bow shape. And that's all there is to it, you guys. You have a cute little elephant. I hope you enjoyed this video and have fun creating. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!